episode 131 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
And I am Jeff Mayo.
Welcome back, Mr. Jeffrey Mayo. We made it. We survived the week off. What did you do with your glorious time in the sun, not in front of a microphone?
Work.
That sounds thrilling. I went skiing. That was fun.
Yeah.
I did not fall. I was very proud of myself. I was a very professional pro skier boy. I almost fell multiple times. I went down, not quite a black diamond, but the one right before that. And pretty scary. But I did it. I conquered that mountain. Pretty much every lift person, like the person manning the lifts or whatever, almost every single one of them was listening to bluegrass and smoking weed.
Nice.
It was pretty cool atmosphere.
Did your alter ego show up and try to kill you?
Yeah, how'd you know?
I just kind of figured that happens on mountains, you know?
It does. I mean, that does happen on every mountain. It's really an epidemic. It's really a problem. Jeff, let's talk about video games. Before we get into what we have been playing, let me tell you that our Pokemon Shield Nuzlocke has finally come to an end. It finally ended. You can go see episode 13, the final episode where we take on Leon and potentially kick his stupid ass with our sweet baby boy right here.
Yeah.
So go watch that. We both had a fantastic time recording that.
We did.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was my first Pokemon game. It was a very enjoyable experience. I super enjoyed it.
Yep. Now we're in Nuzlocke channel for all.
Yep, we are doing excited to announce every Pokemon game, and no, absolutely not. But you could
the first ones, like if we did a Nuzlocke for Red, that would be a grind.
Yeah, it would probably take twice as long as this one did, and this one already took like 50 plus hours.
It'd be a very interesting one.
I won't rule it out, but not anytime soon.
Yeah.
But at twitch.tv/Nerds at Large Gaming, we are going to be doing more streaming stuff soon. We're probably going to do some one-off things, like we're going to play Rivals of Aether, because that's like, if you don't know about that game, Jeff, you want to explain what that game is?
So if people don't know what Rivals of Aether is in general, it is a Smash Bros inspired game, so kind of like, do all that kind of fun stuff. But on the PC version, there are mods, like official mods through Steam that you can do.
Yeah.
So I did not realize that was a thing until a couple weeks ago. So I went ahead and downloaded the Steam version of that and been downloading a whole bunch of random nonsense. I got like, I don't know how many, a few dozen characters, some stupid stages. It'd be a good time.
It's just an open platform Smash game, so the internet can put Ronald McDonald in there and he can throw cheeseburgers at you.
Yeah, I actually looked last night, I believe, and looked to see if they updated a couple other ones that were added. Just a non-crazy one. Hat Kid from A Hat in Time.
Nice.
And I was like, let's go, baby.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. There's a good mix between the meme ones, which you want, those stupid meme ones, but also some legitimately cool characters.
There's also, unfortunately, like one that we would both be really into. Shantae is not a finished one.
Yeah.
At least
we'll give him time.
Yeah.
Give him time.
I got to download it, but not finished.
So look forward to that and other games. We might do some more long form things again, like we did with Nuzlocke, but not 100% sure what that'll be right now. So yeah, look forward to that. And then other thing is Nerds and Dragons, our D&D podcast. The second arc, it's only 2 episodes, but it is finished there. The third arc should be going up this coming Friday. I was going to do it today, but that ain't happening. But this coming week, that should start up. So enjoy that. But let's stop messing around, Jeff. It's time to dream.
Time to dream?
It's time to go into our little dream clouds with our impy boy.
Our little impy
dimp. Jeff,
That is a Pokemon.
I played a little bit of Dreams on our stream, which you can go see at our YouTube channel or twitch.tv.
We'll probably do more Dream streams.
We'll probably do more Dream streams. But that's really the only Dreams I've played post-launch. But you, sir, have played a considerable more than that.
Yes. Yeah. Done more to, find levels for us to stream and all that kind of stuff, mess around. Yeah. Some more levels on my own. Also, just kind of good news in general to bring up. One complaint I have, and most people have, is looking through levels on the front page has not been the best right now. It's pretty much just like the remakes of things, and the things that are most popular stay the most popular, so they're just always at the front, so you're not really getting many new levels unless they go viral. And people are doing it, but they said they're going to change that to make it so you get a bunch of whole different stuff on the front page, and it's more original content.
That's good.
And just not like a bunch of Sonic levels.
So you haven't actually seen that get better yet. It's just that's coming.
Not that I've seen that. I played. But the most important thing we talk about today is I played that their Dream story mode.
Art's Dream.
There you go.
I remembered it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how was that?
Actually, really good. I was surprised.
I've heard that sentiment a lot.
Yeah. I'm part of it. Probably went in with decently moderate expectations going. It's like, okay, it's a game made from dreams, whatever. It's a Media Molecule, but
yeah.
But it started out decently slow. It's like, okay, this is cool. The vibe that's going on and all that kind of stuff. But as it kept on going on, things got crazier and a lot more interesting, and they did a really good job during that. Switching it up as far as like what was going on as far as the gameplay styles and all that, because you kind of you got the platforming stuff, you got the kind of more action beat 'em up kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Got some bullet hell in there.
Nice.
Yeah, and there are times when you control Art and you're going around and kind of doing the whole selecting what you want to say type thing.
Okay, so it's a nice sampler platter of everything.
Yeah, I mean, they even said at the beginning, it's like, hey, this is, we had this vision for this game, but we're also using this as a way to show you some of the stuff that is possible in dreams. And I have to imagine for a lot of people that got the juices flowing and be like, I can do that.
I've definitely heard, people say that.
Yeah. Like, there's stuff in there, like, it's crazy. Like, even just going through all these levels and making it, because it is set up just like anyone else's level, but it is I can't remember the exact thing. It might have been like roughly 2.5 hours how long it was. But that's just one thing, is just float in there. There were a little loading things in between, so some of the levels and stuff, but it was pretty seamless overall. And like, especially not gonna spoil it, but that ending sequence was crazy with the way they did things. Like, man, I can't wait till people actually.
So is there like a story or a character that you are like going through this whole thing?
Yes, you're going through Art's Dream.
Yeah.
And you're going through, and he actually has a story arc going on, and he's trying to figure shit out. It's actually, it's overall a pretty simple story, but I think it was well done. The voice acting, I think, definitely helped.
Yeah.
And all that, and just the vibe of it, like, there was so much style in there, and the music was really good. And he's all about music, because Art's a musician who left his band or whatever.
Okay,
it's kind of pretty much regretting it in a way. It's like, he's kind of down on his luck and all that stuff, and he's like using his dream to go through it and kind of come to terms with what kind of person he wants to be, and like what he's kind of done wrong in his life and stuff like that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Was
there ever a time in this story mode that you kind of forgot you were playing Dreams? Was there a time where, like, what you were playing, you kind of like had to stop and remind yourself, oh, this was made in Dreams?
Yeah, definitely during that last part, I think, because it was just so crazy and just so well done. People might disagree with me up to this point, and I think you could make the argument, against what I was about to say, especially from a visual standpoint, but from a gameplay perspective and a story perspective, this could be, released as its basic thing as like a $20 game or whatever. It'd be, I think, decently well received.
Yeah.
At the very least, the most thing that you're like, that helps remind this is Dream, is some of the visual stuff, because it still looks like Dreams, and you know what I'm talking
cloudy
about.
Look.
Yeah, some of the
like
way,
watercolor thing.
Yeah, and the way some of the people look, and it just might be because these are character models and stuff that Media Molecule has been promoting pretty much since, like, that little bear character. Like, they've been using pretty much since the beginning.
Yeah,
the bears in this game, and Art's model him.
That's kind of their art style for Dreams, and like, you would hope that's something that you're seeing so much of it in everyone's games right now because we're super early on in Dream's life cycle, and you would hope that like 5 years from now people have made so many other assets that things are starting to like evolve way past that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing it more. I was seeing it more when we were playing levels and stuff. But this solidified something I've been thinking is like, Dreams is going to get better. Dreams is going to have that dedicated community and just get better as a platform. People are going to make some crazy stuff in this, very creative stuff. Even if it's not like, mind blowing like Last of Us level crap.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying. But like stuff like that, it's like, if I can get a good many like Arts Dream level stuff, I will be more than happy.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's so interesting. I mean, because I think always and forever, the vast majority of stuff on Dreams is going to be pretty garbage. It's like,
and in some way that it's fine, but as long as we get that really good stuff, like, and it's a very simple thing. I'm forgetting the name. That the Pilgrim. It's the thing we ended on last time. That was actually a pretty solid thing.
I agree, and I mean, I think Media Molecule has to be very vigilant about curation, or at least just foster a community that is good at.
They do have I'm forgetting the name, like community showcase type things where they even show themselves playing the levels, and they do kind of have like little events things where they show off particular types of things.
Yeah, but there's things like that. I mean, like someone needs to be able to pick up a game, the Dreams off the shelf, knowing very little about it, and put it in there and get to the good stuff.
Yeah,
like they need to have that worked out, which. Again, I mean, I have no doubt.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying earlier. They're doing better with the front side, so it's not just the remakes and the minis.
And I don't know, like where Dreams could go is just like really hard to predict. I think what a lot of people have noticed, and it makes sense, is that a lot of the best Dream stuff that actually feels like a complete experience are the ones that are smaller scope, because the people who try to make this crazy elaborate story and open world and everything, it's fucking hard to do, especially for one person or person just using this. You're like a lot. It's because making Dreams is not just like playing a game or even making like a Little Big Planet world or even like a Minecraft world. I mean, some Minecraft worlds are crazy, but this is like a lot more like, no, this is an actual creative project you're working on, and it's kind of hard work. Like, it's not easy to make a good Dream.
I think what will help us get, some stuff closer to our stream is as the community grows and people kind of make connections in there. I think what's going to, at least a lot of the best stuff, is going to be collaborative stuff. Like when we were looking at the Hat in Time thing with the open world thing, we looked at the credits, and there are different people that are working on the world and the art and music and all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of the stuff close to our stream that's going to be really stand out. At least, stuff that we'll get somewhat soon are going to be that stuff with a bunch of people.
Kind of funny, like Greg Miller talked about, there was like a Kind of Funny fans all like got together to make like a Kind of Funny game or something. They were all like collaborating, and they had like these timelines that they wanted, and they have like missed every timeline. They said like, this person's kind of like stopped working on it, and this person's doing something, but this doesn't look right. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to like actually like, it's like making a real game. Or doing any collaborative.
Yeah, it'd be funny. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen on a grand scale, but some people will just become more empathetic for game developers.
I legit think I think that's probably already happening.
Yeah,
people will be like, I was gonna there is going to be multiple angry tweets that would have happened that are not going to happen because of Dreams, because the person's going to be like, well, I had to try to make that bush, and Greg really didn't like the bush I made. Like, I know this is hard. Yeah.
What I'm very curious about is the sales for this game. Like once we get the NPDs in next month and stuff, where will Dreams lie and stuff? Because the reviews have been fantastic,
and it came out at a good time.
Yes, and it's one of those things where, and it depends on the game, of course. What I'm about to say, it officially launching the full game actually matters, because it definitely, I think, blew up more. Like more YouTubers and stuff were actually playing it compared to when it launched in the beta.
Even though it seems like, relatively speaking, not a ton changed at launch, but there was a lot of people that just were not even aware or like kind of just didn't care, and then that just, even if it's kind of superficial, you know, even if it's something that's kind of like a dumb thing or whatever, it definitely got more people's attention because of just the term launch.
Yeah. And so I think Sony was promoting it. You know, Sony was promoting it more than they did when it did the early access launch and all that. And yeah, more YouTubers were playing it.
Yeah, it's just it's so interesting. I mean, even now, I mean, this was definitely, you know, leading up to Dreams. I think lots of doom and gloom, and honestly, it was warranted. Like this game did not seem like a massive appeal game. It was not being marketed super well, and it was just like, I always thought like it's going to be really good and there's going to be a community behind it, but it's going to fail ultimately. This was definitely the best possible, or, you know, like close to the best possible launch I think they could have, just like buzz
as far as they have word of mouth and all that.
But this game is definitely a game about longevity, and, you know, that it's a game about like keeping the community going for years and years. So it's still, you know, the full story of Dreams is still yet to be written, but I mean, it seems like, at least quality of the game wise, objectively right now is going to be the worst time for Dreams. Like the best time is going to be years from now. But like, it's going to just keep getting better. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's going to keep.
No, that's pretty much what I'm saying. That's the kind of exciting thing about it, is like the actual content in there is just going to get better as we go on, and the people that have been messing around with it just get better and more used to it, and make those connections to where people collab and make really good stuff.
Yeah,
because Artstream was able to make, because it is Media Molecule and stuff. It was made with all the access and Dreams, but there are more people and stuff. They know what they're doing and stuff. So that definitely
musicians
helps
and stuff.
Yeah, and all that, and yeah, the music in it was really good and all that. I think you'll enjoy it.
I'm sure it will. Yeah.
Everything overall, but yeah, I was very, very impressed with Artstream.
Sweet.
And when I mentioned you see the length, you mentioned, you know, you wish it was longer, which is fair. But when I got to the end, I was like, I think that was really well paced and everything to do. I think it used the time early to get everything that it needed to do. I don't think it necessarily needed to be longer with what the story they were telling.
Yeah, I mean, like it was supposed to is like a sampler platter of everything, just like kind of introducing you to Dreams. And like I would think, like
now, if Media Molecule stops making stuff put on that, then I will be.
Then I'll be that. Yeah. But I mean, it sounds like from what you've said, what other people said, it kind of rises a few notches above just a sampler pattern introduction to Dreams. It sounds like something that people are actually going to kind of remember. It's going to stick with you, more so than just like basically a tutorial.
I legitimately think, and you know, I don't want to give too much praise to where people get overhyped about it and everything. But I do think when we get to end of the year, you know, game of the year talk, I think for some people that will be what may make Dreams be talked about more and may go up a few notches on this. Like even mine, because it's like it's technically it's story mode. Yeah. So that is something like I would be theoretically talking about once we get to game of the year.
Is that like the only Media Molecule thing in there now, or there's other?
No, there are other ones.
The same ones from like the.
I think there might have been a couple more than when we looked. Because I imagine they were mainly focused on the tools and making Artstream. They need to get that VR stuff done.
Yeah,
I want it.
And mouse and keyboard support.
Yeah,
give me that. I'd be so much more excited.
Yeah. There's some things I'm curious to see how well it would transfer to mouse and keyboard. So, because I know you don't like the gyro stuff as much, but there is some parts to it. Yeah. Like even like, the Artstream actually uses the imp as a gameplay thing in there.
Yeah. And by mouse and keyboard, I'm perfectly fine if you can't play with mouse and keyboard. I just want to create with mouse and keyboard. That's my. I mean, like playing.
Well, I mean,
fine, but
even that, I'm like, there's some stuff I'm trying to think. It's like I feel like. Even then, the gyro thing might be
maybe. I mean, I'd have to actually see it, but from the little bit,
I'm not against the option.
Yeah, from the little bit I've seen, like everything I was doing trying to make stuff without controller, I was like, literally every single one of these things would be better done on a mouse. Like, I mean, I could do the distance and then go down and everything. It was just like. I just like because it's so hard to be precise with these things. Part of it, I just hate motion controls, but like this is a new level of not like sure, I don't like motion controls in games or whatever. It's just obnoxious. This is trying to make something with motion control. That's a whole new level of I don't like it. That's and I won't lie. That is one of the reasons why I'm more hesitant to jump into making stuff with Dreams. So I hope they get that. I hope they get that.
I also think that's pretty cool is there are collectibles in there where you're just getting the assets from.
Okay, no, that's cool.
Kind of doing it.
Fun. Cool. Well, we have more video games to talk about. Next up on the list is that their Control that I've been playing.
Control, baby.
Unfortunately, not quite done with it, so this still won't be the final thing, but I legitimately think I am 5 minutes of gameplay until it's
I'm not done. I got 5 minutes left.
I'm at the fucking boss, but God, or the end thing, but fuck.
Yeah, it's one thing when I put it on, because I just went ahead and put it on here. It's especially since it's been 2 weeks, I can't remember where Darby was or.
Yeah, it's worth putting on there, even though I'm not finished, because definitely things have turned a little bit.
I know they did. I can remember, that happened after.
I don't want it to sound too bad. I still, overall, am really enjoying this game. I still think if this ending is really cool, like I expect it to be, I still think it's my game of the year of 2019. 2019 is a weak year, so take that as you will. But it's still a very good game, and I still like the whole vibe of this. The oldest house as a setting are some of the most unique and cool I've seen in a video game. And just atmosphere-wise, no one touches this. It's crazy. There's just a lot of amazing things about this game. But definitely towards this latter half, I definitely get what Jacob on this podcast was saying, and I'm definitely hitting it where the combat is getting pretty stale for me, and it's getting hard in kind of just very cheap ways, where it's we're not going to make the combat any more interesting. We're just going to throw people at you.
Make the enemies more pain in the butt.
Yes. Where
I'm seeing that, not in Control, but another game that seems to be doing that to make it annoying is DragonBall FighterZ.
Really?
I'm so glad I didn't pay $60 for that game, Darby. Man, at some point, I feel like I could put it on this list and talk about just from watching people play it, complaints. It seems like they stopped trying a point, but this is about Control. So.
Yeah.
We'll get to Dragon Ball.
There's honestly not a whole lot more to say. I mean, it's because it's weird. I'll sound so frustrated that when I texted in the group chat, I was probably using very vulgar language. I was playing with my sister. We usually play longer sessions than that, but I had to walk away for that ending one. I had literally had the last person with just a sliver of health, and then I fell off the edge because that doesn't sound as Darby fell off the edge, dumb thing. In Control, you are flying around and doing stuff all the time. It's easy to do, But God, it was so infuriating. Now I just can't get back there. So the combat just I'm not having fun with the combat anymore, which is a bummer because it really was having a good time with it early. Early in the game, I was maybe I feel very differently than Jacob because I'm really digging this combat. But I see where he's coming from now. It had cool ideas, but I think that they couldn't think of a way to increase that to add on to that combat, or they were too rushed to finish the game or something. So they just kind of ramped it up to 10 there, and it's one of those. It's brutally hard, but not in a fun way. And the checkpoint system is still just atrocious. And it's not even checkpoint as in you have to I have to fight through all of that again or whatever. That would be one thing. That would probably be a game design perspective. It spawns you a fucking mile back, but none of the enemies have respawned. So every single time you die, you legitimately have to walk for 5 minutes to get back to the fight you were in. It's why the hell don't you just spawn me at the fight? If you're not
at the beginning of the fight,
if you're not even gonna bring the enemies back, why the fuck am I having to walk through here? So I'm dying over and over at this boss fight, and me and my sister are okay, time to wait through the entire really long loading screen because the loading times are ridiculous, and then time to walk through these corridors that I've walked through 20 times now. It sounds like a small thing, but when you're dying over and over again, it's infuriating.
That stuff adds up.
Yeah. But I'll let you know I have a feeling the ending's going to be crazy. I still don't completely understand where the story's going or what the story really is, but that's kind of the point. It's a really cool game.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Do you know what your next Ginny game is?
Probably Resident Evil 2.
Cool.
Yeah, Jacob let me borrow that one too. So Jacob, the homie, 2 games in a row. But I think we're gonna.
Well, that'd be nice because I'm planning on playing that soon. So that'll be nice. And you ready for Resident Evil 3, baby?
Yeah.
Got that pre-ordered already.
We'll go through it slow though because she has 2 twin girls and we can only play a few hours every week. But
yeah,
we'll try to get through it. I mean, I don't think RE2's that long. Control's not that long either though. So I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Got to at least beat the story twice.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Starry, let's talk about that there. Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 3! 3! AKA Dragon Ball FighterZ 1.75.
Now with estrogen.
Yes, a little more.
A little bit of estrogen.
A little bit more. Or is it double because it's technically 2 girls, but they are one.
They doubled up a double dose of estrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 3 is out. I think Kefla officially came out today for people who didn't get the season
normies.
Pass. Yeah. I just went ahead and bought the season pass, so I got her 2 days ago. I messed around on her a little bit. My main focus was the time I played to see what's different in Season 3 compared to the previous season and me trying to get my footing again. So I want to dedicate more time to this, than I do most other fighting games and learn all that kind of junk.
Yeah.
Get better about it.
I would like to play too. Playing as you would probably be miserable, even more miserable than it used to be now that you know what you're doing. But
yeah, okay. But dear Lord, Daria, the Season 3 changes are crazy.
Yeah.
So even the stuff like I talked about before, the whole assist thing, that stuff now seeing it in action is definitely insane. Yeah. Krillin is viable, maybe. Which doesn't just throw fucking rocks.
Which is very briefly, it's just that all the assist characters you can now choose from multiple different
so
abilities instead of just one static.
So when you select your team of 3, after you do that, you can go through them and select one of 3 assists, an A, B, or C assist. A, I think is more basic. The more the basic one. The C one is the most powerful of them generally. They even said this in the tutorial thing. And I'll get to the tutorial mode. They revamped that and it's great.
Nice. That's good. That's good.
And the C one more powerful, and when that's your assist, you charge it back more slowly. So you can't just spam them. And I think the assist charge thing is longer than normal anyway, so you can't spam assist.
Okay.
They're doing a lot in some other changes. They're doing more it seems to make this game more faster paced, because one complaint, and I agree with it, that people have for Dragon Ball FighterZ is matching can take too long.
Okay, yeah.
And some ways they changed this is, I think this is charged slower. Yeah. So people can't do crazy touch of death combos as much.
Right.
And I'm trying to think what else was. Oh yeah. When and this is common in tag fighters, when you switch someone out and they usually have in Dragon Ball FighterZ face a blue meter or blue thing on their health, or they lose health, but there's a blue health gauge under the thing that kind of sticks around. When you switch out, they heal up to that health gauge.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. That's a lot slower from what I've seen. Or maybe not a lot, but it is slower. So people aren't getting health back as fast. That make the matches faster.
Right.
And making you get a combo and you hurt them down to half health or whatever. They switch out and then they get all of it back pretty fast.
Yeah, that's pretty
that kind of thing will make match going longer. From what I can tell, that charges up slower.
Sounds like a good addition.
Yeah, and just a whole bunch of other changes I'm trying to.
Yeah. So what were the multiple assist things was really the only thing I heard. I know there's way more. What were some of the other season? Even though I know that assist was huge, that was game changing.
Yeah, and just balance changes throughout the whole thing. Captain Ginyu got an actual level 3 that's not the body change, because his only level 3 was he can switch bodies.
Forms. Oh, yeah.
And now he's actually got a normal level 3, which will will help them.
Actually,
Because unlike Mortal Kombat, people actually use the level 3 supers, like they use the ultimate attacks. Oh, and that reminds me, the EX moves. You know, the like, it's like the normal special moves. That don't take meter, but you do the special version of them, the O version of them, and they do take meter. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat. Yeah. You do all that. It used to take 1 meter, like 1 charge bar or whatever. So it wasn't as worth it. Now it only takes half.
No.
So that alone is
just a more incentive to
actually
probably
do those.
also speeds things up. Just more damaging attacks.
And something small, they put a little meter thing or bar at the top. I've told you about this before, where it starts with red and blue or colors like that or whatever on the side, and it goes left or right depending on how one side's HP is to the other, so you can compare how you are overall. Because it can be hard to tell when you have 3 characters of varying HP on both sides.
So I mean, this is like an average of like all 3 of your fighters. Like,
it's not the average. It's like it all added up and compared to the other fighter.
But like it's like even if you have this one's full health, but the other 2 are dead, and they have like 3 people of like moderate health, it's going to be more in their favor, right?
Yeah, it's going to be the one with the 3 people alive that have health, for sure.
Right,
it'll be more towards their side.
Yeah, which that's cool. Like seems especially cool for like if it's there for like viewing Dragon Ball tournaments.
Oh no, it will be because it's just on the screen,
so you can just see like, oh, that person's winning. Whereas like when you look and you see this giant health bar and then this tiny health bar, you're like, oh, that guy's winning. Oh wait, no, he's not, because the other ones. That could be a cool,
very tiny thing that's just cool.
Yeah.
And they're more actual gameplay changes. Oh yeah, one other thing I remember for the gameplay stuff is, I think there was kind of this way before, but they're making it more of a dedicated thing. When you get down to your last fighter, the actual health bars of the other 2 people are just gone, and there's little things to show that hey, your final character is more powered up.
Oh, that's a new thing or something?
Yes, at least to the degree. So it's more like a little comeback things, like hey, comebacks can be more likely that
Interesting.
So cool. And I'll get to the new tutorial system they're doing. So they now have a dojo mode where all the chibi version of characters that are in the menu stuff are there, and they each have their own certain things that they're like dedicated for. Goku's there. He just does the basic tutorial ass stuff that's always been there. Then you go to like Piccolo, and his whole thing is dodging and dodges and guarding and that kind of stuff. And then you have Kefla, Khalifa, who's part of Kefla, who does all the season 3 changes. Like, hey, we're going step by step of all the changes in this patch.
Yeah.
And I did some of them, and then after I did, more appeared. It's like, okay, so they're doing bit by bit for everything, and they each focus on a thing, so you can go there and kind of do what you want.
That's good. We needed, like, MK11 was kind of the first ones. We need better fighting game tutorials, just period. Like, fighting games have always had, like, fucking terrible tutorials in comparison to how complicated the actual games are. And, like, Mortal Kombat 11's was very, very good for new players, and it sounds like this is...
This is a lot more in-depth. And what's also nice is just kind of an incentive thing to do when you get in-game currency from it.
That's cool.
So to get the whole, the alt colors and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So all that kind of stuff, nice. And finally, before we move on, I'll talk about this more as I play more of the game. But played Kefla some. She seems really cool. She seems like a nice speedy character. She does crazy stuff. It's like one of her specials is in Super, in her debut, literally the first thing she does is she runs past Goku at super speed and just kind of like almost falls over because she doesn't know her own power.
Nice.
And they actually made that a move, so she just quickly goes past the other character.
Is she like almost trip or something?
Yeah, the animation is she won't actually trip in game, but for the animation standpoint, she does do that, and you just go past the other character.
That's fun
to help set up stuff.
That's fun.
Yeah, and I'm messing around with other characters. I forgot that Android 17 had this to be fun to mess around with. He literally does wall bounces where he'll just jump to one side of the wall and jump back in between to do crazy stuff with that.
Sounds very crazy.
There's a lot of crazy stuff in there, and just me messing around with some of the assist things is like...
Just from the trailer, the Kefla girls seem like cool characters. Seem like they have lots of personality.
They do.
Seem cool.
Yep.
But you like her as an addition.
Oh, yeah. yeah, I really wanted her in this game.
But yeah, gameplay wise too.
Oh yeah,
actually
she's
getting your hands on it.
Yeah, I'm liking her. I don't need to mess around more. Again, most of it was me messing around with the tutorial stuff and just looking at the season 3 stuff. So.
Well, more Dragon Ball Fighters hashtag content.
Yep.
We're probably gonna at twitch.tv/nerdslargegaming. We are probably gonna do just like a massive fighting game stream at some point. I think we're right now thinking like around spawn time and MK11. And I feel very certain that Dragon Ball FighterZ will be one of the many fighting games that we will cycle around to.
Yeah.
And you get to watch Jeff just kick my ass. And then we'll have to like run to Mortal Kombat 11 to heal my fragile ego.
Unless I find a way to be a dick Joker.
You absolutely could. Have you seen like he like one of his moves? It's just a move. Is this wheelchair comes up with a body in it, and he grabs the body out of the wheelchair and throws it at him. Like that's literally a move that you can do over and over again. It's like wheelchairs just keep coming, you keep throwing bodies.
This pleases me.
It's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, this one final thing. People might have tried to figure out what the other DLC characters are.
It's Goku wearing a sun hat.
No. So on the eShop, they have like the different character passes, and it has the characters on them, and it just has silhouettes right now for the ones that haven't been announced yet, but there are colors behind them. People notice that the ones for Kefla and Ultra Instinct Goku kind of like the main color out of them. Like it's like pink for Kefla because she wears a pink outfit, and silver for Goku because of his hair. So people are like looking like, what colors do people have? And one of the ones that people notice, like it's like dark blue. It's like Majin Vegeta. Like no, fuck that. No, well that one is like people turn around. It's like it's probably Omega Shinra, which is pretty much already leaked. I'm like, good.
Wait, isn't that the giant dragon?
So Darby, I won't get into lore now. I'll wait till he's actually announced.
Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked Dragon Ball questions. I shouldn't have done.
Yep.
Shouldn't have done that. I regret it.
Yep. So Darby, let's move on to the final game. Man, it's one of the longer ones we've had for game talk.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of Ichimo games here.
Yep. I have played Final Fantasy House's Cindered Shadows.
Cindered Shadows. He's been hanging out with the emo kids in the basement.
With the Ashen Wolves. Yeah, this is the DLC for Final Fantasy Houses. It is standalone DLC where you just start pretty much a new game.
Yeah.
But
it does take place in the middle of the...
It takes place during the first part before
the
Byleth's color hair change. So to give a general timeline, but after he gets the sword of the creator.
Yeah, and it's
only like a couple chapters that can actually happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it ends before that time too, right? Yeah,
as far as I know.
So you're not done with it.
I'm not completely done with it yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, probably at least halfway through. I have to imagine.
Well, how's it going?
Definitely harder than the regular story.
Good.
Dear Lord.
I'm envious. I will never play this, but I am envious.
Making me actually think, and I think it is partly because there's a limited amount of resources because it is so short. Like, because it's not taking your thing from your actual save file. It's like you're throwing it in with these characters, with these classes, with these stats and everything, with this equipment, and you only have so much money you can get.
Yeah, like you can't really customize them, or I guess you can, but it would be foolish.
I mean, there's really no customization thing. The most you can do is some of the characters, they have access to a couple different classes. Like for Edelgard, for example, she's a Fortress Knight, but she can also be the Barbarian or whatever, I think.
Has that in any way been like annoying to you that you like, you can't use the team that you would build up and you have to kind of be thrown in here, or is it kind of a welcome challenge? Or like,
I actually like it. Yeah. I actually like the fact that it's like, hey, you have to do this. Like, okay. And it's also just nice to see that the house leaders kind of interact with each other.
Yeah, and be able to play all of them at once.
And even just the kind of little story interaction you get from actually talking to each other, because you don't get that too much once you get into the main bulk of the game.
Yeah. That's cool. I like all their voice actors and stuff for all three of them. So
all that's nice, and the Ashen Wolves themselves seem pretty cool. Their classes are really cool because all 4 of them are DLC classes.
Right.
They're all brand new classes that I think you technically get it just by buying the DLC. I don't know if you actually need to beat it to unlock the classes in the actual game or anything. But point is, they're new classes to me, at least in Three Houses. So that is really dope, and will make it more interesting whenever I do more.
Are they using like completely new weapon types, or is it just?
No, I mean they're the same old weapon. I think they're because two of them are mages. I think one of them might be using a couple of different new spells. I think. And then one of them's a war monk, so it's just kind of like the whole fighter thing, but he used some healing and that kind of stuff. There's a couple of things there. One of them is a trickster, which uses primarily swords, but I can't remember what's personal and what's just the trickster thing, but he has ability that when he has a certain amount of HP or a round or whatever, he might take half damage.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's like a swordsman anyway, so he's hard to hit.
Nice.
And also he has a trickster ability which allows you to switch places with an ally within a certain range, but you can do that and then still move.
That's cool. That sounds.
And it doesn't take the other person's turn either. So what I did one time, for example, is Edelgard, who's a fortress knight, so she's slow and can't really move much. Yeah, like, I switched places with her, and she was in a better position to do something.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that a lot.
So they open up a lot of things. Like, and one of them is a Pegasus warlock person who uses dark magic or
also cool.
Or uses the offensive magic, but is a Pegasus knight.
Offensive magic is already pretty OP in Three Houses, and then you add flying on top of that.
Yeah, but like a lot of things, she is a glass cannon. And one of them is also I can't remember what different about her class. She is a magic knight, but she's on a horseback, but she uses dark magic.
Yeah. I just remember Cynthia in my run was like, she was such a glass cannon. So honestly, she still was a glass cannon at the end, but she one-shotted everything after a certain chapter. It's like crazy. Like a lot of those mages are just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. As far as the story itself, it's whatever. I don't mean that in a really bad way. It's like it's a short little story about this house, and you're learning some more lore about the world, which is cool.
Yeah.
More actual lore for these houses, and I'm glad it's not something as simple as, oh, these people have always been down here. They were born down here. It's like, no,
that's
like
what I would have expected. Honestly.
Yeah. It was actually a relief right away when after you fight the Ashen Wolves in like the first battle, and then they join your party afterwards. Like in the cutscene, is like Hilda's like, wait, I know you. And she's actually the guy was actually Hilda's brother, who you hear a lot about. I'm sure you know.
She talks a lot about
her brother's best friend.
Yeah.
So that was nice, and other interactions with characters like, no, actually, no, I've heard of your house or something.
So like, did they get to the school? Whatever
they have their reasons to be.
Did they get there recently, or have they been there?
I think it's dependent on the character. Like they're pretty much that whole underneath thing, kind of like for refugees, and each person has their own reasons for being there. And you hear kind of the reasons, like the Hilda's brother's friend is pretty much like he has a bounty everywhere, so he's just in hiding.
Nice.
And that kind of thing.
There you go. Cool.
And it would also be fun is after you. I think I unlocked at least a couple of them in the playthrough anyway. But once you do this, you can recruit them. I think as early as like chapter 2 or 3 in the first part of the game. So
yeah,
it's like here are completely different people to mix things up for the whole story, and they have time skip designs and all that.
Probably just break the game even more.
Yeah,
better be playing on Maddening or whatever it is.
Yep, do all that kind of stuff.
I mean,
so
you should be playing on that regardless if you're playing.
Yeah, and the DLC thing, it's just normal and hard. Which
are you playing on hard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hard is definitely a step up from hard in the regular thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the DLC in general is just harder than the base game. I mean, that's how it normally is for a lot of strategy games. That's when they do DLCs.
So it's a lot of fun. If you're a Family Houses fan, I recommend it.
Cool. Well, let's get into that game news, Jeff. Give me that game jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jangle, Darby.
We have a good bit of news for, we had a good bit of game talk, and we have a good bit of news. Just a pretty packed episode.
Yep. Let's get into it.
Some of it is breaking right now.
This comes from Megan.
All right, let's go, Jeff. All right, you got this, man.
Ferekmanish?
I think you did pretty good, Jeff. I think you did pretty good. That was
From
pretty
The
good.
Verge. This year's annual Game Developers Conference, aka GDC, has been postponed amid growing concern about the international coronavirus outbreaks. The event, which has run since 1988, was expected to take place from March 16th to 20th in San Francisco. Quote, after close consultation with our partners in the game development industry and community around the world, we made the difficult decision to postpone the Game Developers Conference this March. This is a note posted to the official GDC post Friday evening. Whatever. Wait, what? Here's a note. Yeah, whatever. Continuing the quote, having spent the past year preparing for the show with our advisory board, speakers, exhibitors, and event partners, we're genuinely upset and disappointed not to be able to host you at this time. End quote. The GDC organizers say they fully intend to host a GDC event later in the summer, and that we will be working with our partners to finalize the details and will share more information about our plans in the coming weeks. The organization behind the conference, exhibition company Informa, intends to refund attendees the cost of tickets, although it's unclear if a system will be placed transfer tickets to the planned summer version of the conference. It's also unclear how GDC will fit into an already packed summer game events, including E3 in June and Gamescom and PAX Prime in August, all three which may ultimately be similarly impacted by the coronavirus. And yeah, I originally had the story in here as, hey, a bunch of people are canceling for this and PAX East. Is this thing going to be canceled? And lo and behold, right before we started recording.
Yep. It's like, yeah, I kind of figured this was coming, like either outright canceling or postponing like this, just because like so many, even like the major keynote people had already been pulling out. And
yeah,
Sony,
I mean, just think of some example of people who canceled for at least GDC beforehand on this. Sony, Kojima Productions, Facebook, Microsoft, and Epic were among the ones that already canceled GDC.
Yeah. So, I think there's multiple things. There's several angles we need to talk about this on. It's like, I mean, number one, like, what do you think about like pulling out of here? Do you think? I mean, I'm just going off of like I'm just introducing the conversation that like everyone has online. Do you think all of this is an overreaction, or do you think it's more, or do you think this is justified? Or hard to say because it's,
I lean more towards justified, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, just because this is a thing and more cases are now popping up around the world, and how many people from different countries and all around, like even just the, this country and all around the world are going to this thing. It's like, I get it. Like, better safe than sorry.
Obviously, I think the probability is like next to zero of anyone actually contracting it here, but the probability is not zero.
I mean,
and that's like you would so much rather be safe about this than have, especially if you're one of these major companies. I mean, this is the way the major companies think about it: having a giant lawsuit on your hands, whatever, and you have employees that are like, either get the virus, or, I mean, not even like just about contracting the virus. Every time one of these cases pops up, a lot of airports are being completely shut down. People are being, you were in a plane with someone who had the virus or has been to China. Now you're on lockdown or something. Like they could have had employees trapped in Boston. They're trapped in San Francisco. And when you have something this international, it's not like, I mean, people will say, a lot of people online say, well, Boston for PAX East and San Francisco for GDC, they've only had like one case or whatever. Why are they freaking out so much? Well, you have people coming in from all over the world. It's not just about the location that this is taking place. It's about, everyone. Yeah. So,
I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. Now the other kind of like two things I want to talk about is like, number one, what do you think this means for GDC, and like do you think that like postponing it to later in the summer will have everyone else come to it and it'll be a similar show to where it was before, or do you think it won't be, because as they said in here, later in the summer almost certainly plants it in at least close to E3 time.
So here's the thing that's kind of interesting. I know GDC is different from other things, but on one hand, it's like, yes, it probably will be less because it is later and stuff and all this stuff's going on. But on the other hand, we'll have next-gen consoles announced by then.
Yeah, so this was and obviously it goes without saying, video games are like the bottom of the priority list when it comes to like coronavirus and its effects. We're just on a video game podcast. I know that's implied, but it goes without saying. But this was the worst possible year for this to happen for video games, because this was the year that GDC might have actually had like relevant stuff because of Sony and Xbox.
Yeah. Now all this happened, people can stop the conspiracy theories that Sony canceled because they didn't want to show off anything. They didn't have anything to show for PS5.
No, I mean, and even Sony also pulled out of PAX East, and they had been like hyping up The Last of Us over and over again for that. I mean, they had things for these shows.
I'm not saying those people had anything to go off anyway, but no, they can officially stop. I think it was also just say this real quick. It's popped in my head. Microsoft is still planning on showing a live stream of what they were pretty much going to be showing here.
Okay.
So I don't know if other companies are following suit, but at least Microsoft's doing something.
Gotcha. This will be interesting. I definitely think GDC will take a hit because of it, and obviously, if the coronavirus is still spreading just as much as it is now and like not as contained, I mean, even later in the summer might be a questionable time for like some of these mass gatherings. I have a feeling that by June, which is when I assume all this, June, July, whenever this would be happening, I assume by then most of these worries internationally would be put to rest, at least enough to hold the show.
Not Italy's in trouble.
And what do you also think this means for... Do you think... Because if Sony wanted to do a big, like, bring all the media in stage thing for the PS5, like we all assumed that was happening in February. Obviously, it's not. We still assume that that's how they're going to do it. But do you think that because of the coronavirus, they pivot to a more just like online thing? Because the alternative is waiting until the late summer to do your big event, which feels kind of late.
I feel like they're more likely to let's say hypothetically they were planning on doing a big stage show and all that kind of stuff. Like that is their plan / is their plan, whatever. More likely to pivot to the whole online thing than to just wait till then to do exactly what they're planning, because that messes up things, I think, even more than putting the information out there in a different format.
I think they could probably do their big stage event in May and be fine.
Yeah.
Most likely, because I mean it's March. That's 2 months from now. Like I think, and honestly, that sounds decently likely to me. I mean, it's before E3, but it's not long enough. So that's what I would assume. But yeah, it is a pretty rough year for all this to be happening game wise, and just a rough time in general.
Yeah,
and it's a whole nother discussion of like how this will impact consoles, but. We'll talk about. We've already talked about that some in the past. We'll talk about it more once we actually get a sense of if it will.
I feel like at this point, as far as like how it'll affect consoles, especially with our limited knowledge on how all this shit works, wait till more information.
I agree.
So people can lay it out for us in terms we can understand.
I agree. We'll let the smart people do that.
But Darby, something I can understand is Baldur's Gate. They can put out that footage and I'm like, I understand this.
And you can watch this and be like, this is a video game.
Yes, that's exactly what I said. This is a video game.
That right there, that's a video game. So they did a whole like big hour and change gameplay thing for Baldur's Gate 3. I watched a decent chunk of it.
I scrolled through it.
I mean, I mostly did. I mean, I did like watch the whole thing. And I mean, I'll be honest, like I might sound negative when I talk about this, but I'm really not. I'm super stoked for this game. But when I was watching that hour-long gameplay thing, I kind of like got to the realization, I was like, I don't really need to watch this because it's Divinity. It's like, this is Divinity. I mean, like, and I'm stoked for it. I'm like, please give me more Divinity. I finished Divinity Original Sin 2 and like contemplated starting it again because it's just so damn good and can go in so many different ways. It's so versatile and like every playthrough can be different. So I'm like, I mean, I won more of it immediately. So that doesn't bother me. And like when I was watching the gameplay, I definitely, like I said, I got to the point where it's like there are new things, but this is new things that I would expect from like a very early, a quick succession sequel to Divinity Original Sin 2. Like that's the kind of improvements we're talking about, where it's like, at least on the surface in this hour-long thing, it does not look like a drastically like they're taking Divinity and like morphing it into like Baldur's Gate. There's like Baldur's Gate DNA all over it. At least I'm not familiar with Baldur's Gate, but it doesn't appear that way because I'm watching it like the UI, the combat system, everything is pretty much directly lifted from Divinity. And I can understand. I'm not going to criticize anyone who's kind of bummed by that or like not happy about how similar it looks, especially like maybe if you're a Baldur's Gate fan, maybe this doesn't look Baldur's Gate enough to you or something. I don't know. Again, I don't have the connection. But from my standpoint, which is only knowing Divinity Original Sin 2, this is fine with me because it's basically a Divinity sequel, just like new universe, you know,
and Cthulhu.
So it was pretty dope cinematic with Cthulhu ship, and all that stuff.
And I guess also as far as information goes, it will launch on early access later this year.
Yeah. Okay, I actually missed that part, but that's cool. I knew that. Yeah, because I imagine I will wait until the full game because I just don't want to play the like half baked. I probably honestly won't even really like follow this that closely. This is one of those when it comes out, I'm in day one. Let's go. Because Divinity Original Sin 2 is one of the best RPGs ever made. Like, you should all go play it. Like, whether you think you're into that kind of game or not, you should play it at some point. It's phenomenal.
Still playing The Witcher, baby.
It's similar to The Witcher in quality.
Oh man, I forgot to say the thing I was playing on. That reminded me of the thing I was going to say during the DragonBall FighterZ thing. I forgot to say. It's Marvel, baby.
That's for you nerds out there, I guess.
No, it just made it even more similar to Marvel vs. Capcom.
Gotcha.
With the assist stuff.
Gotcha. Well, Jeff, let's move on.
Let's move to some next gen specs, baby. Papa Phil giving us that good stuff.
Papa Phil delivers.
Yeah, always. Not really. This comes from Tom Warren from The Verge. Microsoft revealing more specifications about its next generation Xbox Series X hardware today. The biggest new confirmation is that the Xbox Series X will include 12 teraflops of GPU performance.
You can't handle this many teraflops. Go home, Jimmy. You can't handle it.
Which is twice what's available in the Xbox One X and 8 times the original Xbox One. This type of performance puts the Xbox Series X beyond most mid-range graphic cards from AMD and Nvidia, and it's an impressive jump for a game console. It certainly shows that the next gen Xbox and PS5 are going to go far beyond the Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro. Microsoft has previously revealed the hardware accelerated DirectX ray tracing and variable rate shading, or VRS, and the company says it has patented its own form of VRS. Quote, rather than spending GPU cycles uniformly to every single pixel on the screen, developers can prioritize the individual effects on specific game characters are important. Environmental objects, explains Phil Spencer. This technique results in a more stable frame rates and blah, blah, blah. Let's see. A bunch of other nerd shit. AK gaming and frames up to 120 frames per second.
I mean, that's good. I
Yeah.
mean, 60 in console is still not always hit.
Doing a whole bunch of other nerd shit that I don't... Yeah. These are nice buzzwords.
Yeah, I mean...
Let's get to the stuff we can understand, Darby.
Okay.
Along the hardware specs, the next-gen Xbox Series X is also set to feature a quick resume feature. Microsoft used a similar feature on the Xbox One to resume games, but is now promising to let Xbox One Series X owners resume multiple games from a suspended state. That will be a big improvement for switching between games or when you resume from standby. Microsoft is also fully supporting backward compatibility on the Xbox Series X, including original Xbox and Xbox 360 games. The Xbox maker is also branding its future Xbox Game Studios as Smart Delivery, meaning you can play the games on the Xbox One or Xbox Series X consoles. Third-party publishers will also be able to brand their games in similar ways, so consumers know how they'll work for the next gen consoles. And also important to note, Cyberpunk has already been announced to be this, I believe.
Yes. Which, like, all right, you're gonna have to like. Maybe I'm like a dum-dum, but the whole thing with
You're my dum-dum.
Thank you. So what was the difference with Cyberpunk? What they were announcing? What was the difference between what they were announcing and just backwards compatibility? That your like your old copy will work on the new thing. Like, what was special about what they were saying?
So here's the thing that might be a little confusing now. It sounds like it's a kind of a buzzwordy type thing. I don't know. Like, I guess one thing they can make it clear, and they might have already made it clear, if it's the thing of everything is backwards compatible, or it's kind of like with Xbox One, where certain games are backwards compatible. Like, they need to make that work. You get what I'm saying? Because they announce sometimes like, hey, this Xbox 360 game or this Xbox game is now backwards compatible.
So are they basically saying that like the Xbox Series X will have the ability to be backwards compatible, but it's like game by
may
game,
not be all
whether they actually do it or not.
Yeah, and here's the thing: I don't want to make it sound saying in a way it's like it's a scummy thing where it's like they can make it all, but they deciding not to.
Yeah,
but I don't want to make it sound like that because I don't know how those.
Yeah, works. I mean, it might legitimately be by the third parties to.
But I think the important thing is. At least Microsoft's be like, hey, all our games are doing this.
I mean, I was almost, when I saw the thing with Cyberpunk, I was almost kind of bummed or scared because I was like, oh, I thought this was just assumed. I was like, the fact that they're making such a big deal about it kind of worries me that it's like, oh, is that not... Did we not already know that these games were going to be, backwards compatible in that way? Or like... Because they also like talked about you will get the upgrade or whatever to Series X. I mean, like I imagine. I
think that's more of the whole smart delivery thing. Is more of hey, if you do this, it's not just backwards compatible per se. It's like you get the upgraded.
But version. I would imagine if you play the old game on the new system, you're getting the upgraded experience anyway. I thought that goes hand in hand with backwards compatibility.
So
is that not how? Are you playing like the old bad version, even though you're playing it on the new console? Like
I believe so. Yes, I believe that's the way it kind of.
That's crazy.
Because here's the thing, and if you have an example that goes against what I'm about to say, just throw it out there because I'm probably forgetting some shit. Yeah. Like when we look at backwards compatibility with we look at the PS2 and like the Nintendo from the GameCube to the Wii U having backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
That was literally just playing the games. There was no like next gen version This is kind of in a way new territory.
Yeah.
So I think it's not as easy a thing of putting it in an Xbox One disc into this thing and it automatically upgrading like just on Xbox. I think it's got to be a thing of CD Projekt Red has to do something to allow this.
I guess it's the difference between like it sounds like Cyberpunk will legitimately have like new features or new like under the hood stuff for this game, whereas like I mean because just inherently like control. If I have control on my PS4. And then there's if it's backwards compatibility and I put that PS4 game into the PS5, just the fact that it's running on the PS5 should make it better.
But the thing about this way, like when the Pro had to be made, people had to retroactively add stuff to make it bring out. So it's kind of like that. They need to do stuff with the actual disc in the hardware.
I imagine like with the whole backwards compatibility, you're still going to play your old games on the new system and it will run better. Like it's gonna run better
for games that do this whole smart delivery thing. Yes, some games it might be backwards compatible, but no upgrades.
Well, but no upgrades, but it will still run better. I mean, I think even if it doesn't have the smart delivery, if you can play it on there, just because
from a frame rate perspective, probably
it would be like you bought a new PC and you play that game on your new PC, and like the load times are better.
Yeah, like what's gonna happen probably like with Halo Infinite and Cyberpunk is they will probably run better and also look better.
Yeah. Like there's actually going to be like not just you're playing it on a better system, but like we made a better version and that's there.
But and you didn't have to pay for the new version to do it. Your old version will work.
Am I wrong in thinking that this whole thing is like almost a little too complicated for a mass market, at least just being a selling point where it's like, I feel like the conversation we just had, and we like pay attention to games a lot. I feel like people like in Walmart are not going to understand. They're going to be like, what, I can play that there. What's this whole smart delivery? Like, what is this? Like, I thought I could play the game there. What's the problem? You know, like, I don't know if that distinction is going to be made by people other than like the hardcore gamers, but it is definitely nice. It's nice to know that like at least that is opening the door, and this kind of feels like one of those things, a lot like crossplay, that once big people like Cyberpunk are doing it, it's going to evolve into everyone does it. And if you don't do it, people think like, what the hell? You know, people are mad.
What I hope they do at some point, and this is one of those things where I'm just kind of pulling it out of my ass, so it may not be as easy as I make it sound, is after Xbox Series X comes out and it kind of there, whatever, like Halo Infinite, just one box, Xbox One logo and Xbox Series X logo at the top.
I hope, because like we said before, you could get into like a really stupid, weird situation where we always get a physical because that's just where it makes sense in this conversation.
Digital doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
really.
But it's really weird because you get to a situation where you're better off buying the Xbox One version because the Xbox One version can play on two different systems, whereas the Xbox Series X can only play on that. So I hope it's more.
Let's say like I'm just going to use you, even though it just doesn't work. Let's say hypothetically for you got a Series X instead of a PS5. I know that's not happening, but just stay with me.
Weird Darby.
Yeah, bizarre Darby.
Yeah, bizarre.
You would probably get the Xbox One version of games, so that way you can lend them to your sister.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I would just get them because like. Why not? If it's the same game no matter what, and this one could play on two, what if my Series X breaks or something? I'm like, all right, well, fuck. It's just... that's a weird scenario to be in, which I guess we talked about it before. I guess we've been in that situation before with like the Wii U and stuff. It's a weird thing. But I really am curious, though, because... obviously, the pro-consumer thing and the way that it seems like we're going, I really hope, is that like the systems are just completely backwards compatible. When you buy this Xbox Series X, you can play all your Xbox One games, and same thing with the PS4 and PS5. But from these companies have made so much damn money off of reselling games for every system. And Greg Miller brought up a point when like Ubisoft was saying something about this with I don't know if they said something specifically about this, but they were talking about Ubisoft and like Rainbow Six Siege is apparently going to be on Xbox Series X at launch or something. It's one of those weird things where like in the old days, if that was an old game that was going to be on this new system at launch, they probably would honestly charge $60 for it. Now it's like, if I can buy it $30 on Xbox One, I'm going to do that because it's backwards compatible. I mean, that like, again, that's the way it should be. But I really do wonder, are like these companies going to be okay with throwing away this cash cows they've had off of making you buy games 5 times, and remasters, are remasters going to stop happening as much?
Well, at least just kind of like you were saying with CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk, it seems like we at least got like one of the last big this gen games is going to take advantage of this and be backwards compatible,
right?
So that is a promising sign, at least.
And the only other thing I think before we move on, it does, because like CD Projekt Red was making a very big deal out of this, and like, I mean, CD Projekt Red is just very passionate. When they released The Witcher, they had that big thank you note in there that was cool and all that. And this, they were like, no one should have to buy a game twice to get this thing or whatever. Like you'll get all the advancements with the Series X, with your Xbox One version. Does them making such a big deal and saying all that with Xbox, is that indicative that this is not the case with PlayStation? Or is that just Xbox kind of paid for this marketing blast almost? Like, what is your take on that?
So, I think it'd be either or. I think some people are definitely pointing out, it's like, will Sony be doing this or whatever? Because right now, Sony's kind of partly arrogant Sony, so they may not do all this stuff. But as far as the marketing thing, when I just thought of when you mentioned the word marketing, Microsoft seems to have the marketing deal with Cyberpunk and not Sony.
Yeah.
But I think also when they may not make a big of a deal about it, but I think if Sony announces, they'll also be like, yeah, we're doing this too.
It's just really weird if like Xbox gets to take this big victory lap and get everyone to congratulate them, and Sony's sitting there like, hey, we do the exact same fucking thing. It's like, that's really weird, but we just haven't seen anything about PS5.
I mean, honestly, I could also see Sony doing kind of a wait and see thing, kind of like they were the PS4 and Xbox One with the whole used game stuff, and being like, waiting to see what Xbox does, especially since Xbox needs to be on the offensive more.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, they're doing this, people are liking it, so I guess we'll do this too, or potentially one up them. I mean, they pretty much said that's what they're doing with the price. Like, we're just gonna wait for them to announce it.
Yeah, might see. Oh, it's interesting. It's crazy how these like the narratives of these console generations it's always cyclical. Like history always freaking repeats itself, and yeah, we once again have a Sony that's kind of on top, and like Xbox is the one making all the super pro gamer moves, while Sony is just trying to do as little as they can without making people mad, but they're also like trying to like they're holding back as like much as they can to like just they think they're hot shit.
Yeah,
we'll see. Very interesting.
Speaking of hot shit, that there, Platinum Games is the hot shit right now.
They the hot shit. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
We got a slew of Platinum news. We got an update on number 1 of the Platinum 4, as well as number 2 and number 3. Number 1. Wonderful 101 Remaster will launch in the US on May 19th, Europe on May 22nd, and Japan on June 11th. We got the release dates, and it's soon.
Yeah, that's very soon.
Backers might get it in April, according to the Kickstarter. I don't know if they made that clear or not, or if this is just a straight up release date.
So this was already made, I guess, right?
Before for the most part, yes, it was. Thing happened.
Yeah. So does that make people angry?
I saw some people being like, "Oh, this is coming," and I look at it like, okay, they might have done this before, but it might be they took a gamble and go ahead and really done, and that the Kickstarter is, getting the cost that they did.
Yeah,
because they aren't getting back by 10 cents like they are with what we're about to talk about.
Yeah, it's just weird messaging. It seems like if you're gonna do that Kickstarter, you should have done it a long time ago then. But it's just weird to like say. Had this whole campaign about like give us money because we can't do this. Oh, here it is. So what'd you just take my money for? I understand how people can feel like they just got scammed when they probably didn't, but it does kind of feel weird, because they were asking for money while they were sitting. I have the thing. Give me money.
What's kind of funny is probably think the people that I saw got mad about it didn't actually do anything with the Kickstarter. Because again, pretty clear that was the case the moment the thing went up. Just because when you go on there, it said delivery date April 2020, and I actually brought that up on the podcast. When this was announced.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I know nothing about Wonderful 101. I barely paid attention to this. I was just like looked up and I was like, wait a minute, that's very soon. That's crazy. Oh yeah, cool.
I mean, I get what other people saying and complaining. It's like kind of weird, but I do think there's potential. It's the optimistic side of me is them being like, hey, we already did the money for this, so we're kind of in the red if this doesn't do well.
Yeah,
but we believe in the people that want this.
Yeah,
and I also think from being in the from a marketing standpoint and people talking standpoint, that the quick turnaround is actually good because it's like they're talking about how well it's doing and it's out, so people are gonna continue talking.
Yeah,
about it.
that part's good. Yeah. It's just I can see how you can feel weird if you gave them money, but. Hopefully, if that money isn't going to this, it's going to like a future Wonderful 101 thing. Now that they're like, look, people care.
And I do think part of it is trying to gauge interest in Wonderful 101.
Just some more transparency might be nice, but a lot of those Kickstarters are not actually about funding games. They're about gauging interest. Like even the Shenmue thing.
They straight up said so.
And that was nowhere near enough money to make Shenmue 3. That was just to prove to Sony or whoever that it was, something that people cared about. I don't know if they really proved it was something that people cared about. I don't think many people bought that game, but
everyone who kickstarted bought the game.
Oh, 100%.
That was it.
Michael Huber did, and that's all that matters.
Yep. Okay, they also announced, and this is Platinum for number 2, baby. They also announced the first self-published game in Project GG A Go-Go.
Project GG A Go-Go. Joe.
And we got a teaser trailer. Darby, did you watch that?
No.
You freaking failure. Pull up.
I'm so sorry. I mean, I care very little about most Platinum games, so I doubt this will be.
It will be the third game in Kamiya's Hero Trilogy.
All right, you talk about while I watch it.
Okay. Yep. The other two in the game's like, wait, what's this other trilogy and stuff? Beautiful Joe, as well as the Wonderful 101. As far as, hey, Kamiya games and Superhero Land.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Darby's doing things.
Oh, jeez, Rick. Why is it so big? That's what she said, Rick.
Always. But, yeah, it is a teaser trailer. This game's probably pretty far away. But what's going on there is it looks pretty neat. There's a doggy.
Well, that's all I needed, Joe.
Yep. First Platinum game Darby will play. Oh, wait, you play Bayonetta. Never mind.
Yeah, I like Bayonetta.
Yep. Doggy.
It was more realistic looking than I was expecting.
Doggy's trapped and about to get killed.
There's like some Matrix stuff. There's a bunch of zeros and ones.
A lot of zeros and ones.
Ooh, that's Mega Man.
How dare you? That's a Power Ranger.
I think that was Mega Man, Jay.
Now he's turning giant.
Oh, he's Godzilla Mega Man.
He's a Titan.
Attack on Titan?
Yes.
Don't like that font. Bad font. But cool Iron Man kaiju. It's a kaiju game.
Yep.
Man of Steel. It's a Superman game.
Stand tall and fight.
That font the font and name does not go with.
It makes me think of like Jump Force.
Like the font and name, like make it seem way more playful than the trailer actually is. It's weird.
Thing is, the game's probably gonna be a lot more playful than that trailer makes it seem.
Probably, yeah. It's kind of a weird trailer for
based on what I know of Beautiful Joe and the Wonderful 101.
I was expecting like that, or at least an art style that fit with that.
Yeah.
But maybe this is just one of those dumb trailers that's like super not indicative of what the game looks like, which happens sometimes.
Yep.
But cool.
So, they're interesting. The first self-published game, and that'll be fun. Cool. Number 3, not a game announcement, a studio announcement. Platinum Games get a new studio in Tokyo. It will focus on live service games.
That's weird.
Yep.
That's weird.
Live service near Automata.
Bayonetta Battle Royale.
Yeah,
100 Bayonettas drop onto an island.
Yeah. Part of me is curious what in the world a live service Platinum Games looks like.
Platinum kart racer. You got 2B. You got Bayonetta.
Darby,
you got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Darby, you're naming characters they don't even own.
You got all of them. Everyone's here.
Yeah, Raiden from Metal Gear.
Yeah, Raiden from Metal Gear.
Where's Revengeance 2? I know people want it.
That's when you finish the race, you get to play Revengeance 2. All right, cool. New studio. Can't really say anything about it because we don't know.
Yep. It is part. I am slightly bummed that one of the 4 was not related to a game.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, man, if Wonderful 101, that's big for the people that like it, and then a whole new game from them. Or the other two is like a studio's like, okay.
No. Well.
What's number 4? I gotta be big. Mm-hmm. Darby, you know what is also big? Conspiracy theories. We like those around here.
We feed off of them.
We do.
It's our sustenance.
You wanted some Kojima conspiracy theories?
Oh, the best type.
So Darby.
If it's the image, I've seen it and I love it. I love the you have to explain the conspiracy though, because
so Kojima Productions posted a picture of their head of communications or marketing or some dude, not Kojima himself, and they said, "Sorry to be silent, everyone. I've been really busy lately. I think I can say more soon about what we are going to ... And then, picture of a guy on a cell phone with a notepad. And then when you look closer, on the notepad, it says next week.
Damn it.
Enhance, Darby! Enhance! So yeah. Seeing that says next week. And Darby, there are some other things that
I enhanced. This is what I most want. No, you have to move on without me, Jeff.
So Darby,
there it is.
Darby, here's where things get interesting. So apparently, we're getting something Kojima related next week, huh?
Right about there is where it gets interesting.
Yes. Are you saying that jokingly or
no? So I hope I'm not saying it jokingly. Hey, sorry, we this is an audio fucking podcast. You go. Don't let me distract you, Jeff.
So, Darby, people have theories about what this could be hinting towards. And one of those theories is Silent Hill.
Yes.
Because on the pencil, make it clear in view, it says pyramid. It says silent in the tweet. And
it's happening.
And Kojima has hinted that his next thing is horror. And Eurogamer actually, not long ago, posted something that they heard. Hey, from sources, we're hearing that Konami and Kojima seem to be getting a better relationship going, making amends and that kind of crap.
I would just love so much if this actually is a tease.
Here's the thing. If it is not Silent Hill, the teaser for something because it says next week.
Yeah. No, the next week is not the that. That's very obvious. Whatever. Yeah. I'm more like if he teases Silent Hill with the pencil, I'm just. I love the man. If that is true. But it might just be a coincidence. But silent is a weird word there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because this was about. Was this after the GDC cancellation?
Yeah, it was definitely after it.
So that would be a weird way to phrase that. Yeah. Sorry to be silent.
So here's the thing. It might be a crazy coincidence for sure, but the use
most of likely probably.
But the fact that pyramid on that pencil of everything, a pencil saying pyramid and the pencil happened to being like that. Come on.
It's a type of pencil. So,
but the way it's shown to the camera, it could be a coincidence.
He's holding the pencil. It could absolutely be a coincidence. It's a fucking pencil. And I had pyramid pencils in school. We could have just been holding it that way. But I also don't at all count that. I legitimately do think that could be Caesar. The silent, the pencil is the wild card. It might be, and it makes it so much better if it is. What makes me think the pencil might be the teaser is just the wordage. The words.
I think. Obviously, again, the next week thing's obviously a tease, but the silent and the pyramid thing together is what kind of makes this
yeah. And I'm so down. PT was amazing. Yeah. I would absolutely love to see that actually come to fruition. Yeah.
Easy sales. Easy.
And
an easy win for Konami.
Which who needs it? I'm surprised Kojima would want to work with Konami.
That's the one thing that's making me kind of doubt this.
Yeah.
Just the concept of this. Because the whole Konami thing. But apparently, according to Eurogamer, potentially they are getting getting a better relationship going and everything. But then even if that were to happen, like Konami and Kojima aren't, okay with each other now.
Yeah.
Would Kojima want to work on something that's not his
And just
own
how
thing?
would he be ready to talk about this already? Like, how would he be? He couldn't have anything to show. He just freaking released Death Stranding.
Yeah, but he should. But it's Kojima. He showed Death Stranding when it's just a concept.
This is true. He could just walk out there with a new celebrity to be his bromance. Very quickly, what celebrity do you want Kojima to obsess about next and to be the star of Silent Hills?
I mean, legitimately, there a chance that this wouldn't be Norman Reedus just to...
No, not Norman Reedus.
Okay.
Who's the next one? Who's the next boy?
Zachary Levi.
There we go.
He really loves
just him and Shazam. He's just like Zachary Levi's like probably like 3 feet taller than him. He's just like, it's my dude. It's my fucking dude right here. Yeah, I'm down with it.
That's the conspiracy theory of the week.
Yep. That Zachary Levi is Hideo Kojima's new best friend.
Yes. R.I.P. Jeff.
Yeah.
Darby, you want to talk about some TemTems?
TemTem, I always want to talk about TemTem.
Talk about that TemTem. Timmy TemTem. They gave out their roadmap, Darby.
Oh, we love roadmaps.
We do love roadmaps.
Content roadmaps.
Content roadmaps.
It's my favorite band.
Yeah, content roadmaps. So yeah, and part of the reason I'm bringing this up is some news that I was going to put in last week, but we didn't have it. So kind of going to bring up here, maybe just kind of have a conversation about TemTem in general and everything.
Yes.
So the news was that I was going to do is TemTem has sold over 500,000 copies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Could be more.
It's an early access game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's good.
Yeah.
I guess that's good. I'm just not used to hearing anything under 1 million and being expected to be impressed.
Come on, Dar. It's been a month since an early access, a small thing.
All right, carry on.
Okay,
Congrats, TemTem. Here's your pat on the back.
Oh boy. Yeah, they gave their roadmap to kind of be like, yo, this is what we're doing, blah, 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 blah. Adding a bunch of basic stuff like rank making, spectator modes, all that kind of stuff. Club management. In-game chat, Darby.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Do any of these seem like big deals to you?
Oh, yeah. In summer, they're getting a whole new island. So
Nice.
a whole new area.
That sounds
with 25 new TemTems.
Nice.
And some other stuff. That's just for the summer. And then in the fall, another new island. 25 new TemTems, a mythical one, tournaments, achievements, all that kind of stuff. And winter, man, I didn't realize how much they were doing like just through 2020. Another new island, 30 more TemTems. By the end of the year, we're getting about 75 new TemTems.
Damn son. All this is free, right?
Yes, this is all just going to be added on because, this is, early access junk. And a whole bunch of other stuff, trading houses, some dojo wars. And then in spring 2021 is when 1.0 is supposed to launch, where the in-game island will also
In
be coming out.
consoles.
Yep, the console ports, replay systems, cosmetic stores.
Ooh. Summer. You see
Yep.
that? See that?
Nuzlocke game mode. Darby, are we going to do a Nuzlocke of this game?
Didn't know that. That's
Yep.
cool.
More mystical TemTems, an arcade bar, all that kind of stuff. Cosmetic battle passes.
I like that they're straight up using the term Nuzlocke. They're like,
It's like, man, you know what this is. It's not even...
they don't own that term.
Nintendo doesn't even acknowledge this word, so we can use this word.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that they're not trying to come up with their own TemTem word of it. They're like, no, it's a fucking Nuzlocke.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, no, it seems like they're definitely doing this in the right way, where it's like, and to have it like spaced out to like to keep people interested, and probably by this time next year it'll be like, wow, this game is a lot more feature complete than it was. You know?
Yeah, and I think this will help kind of keep in the conversation because Because again, the word of mouth has been good for this game. I think is why it's kind of sold as much as it is. I know it's like we hear all these whenever we talk about sales. We usually talk about when things are
yeah, $500,000 is pretty good for something like this. For 1 month,
and especially since it seems more often than not when we get something like particularly when it's heavily influenced by a Nintendo property in particular. We usually don't hear, positive things as far as the outcome of them. Yeah, for the most part, like as much as like Rival Ether is cool and we're gonna have fun with all that mode and stuff. Like, I don't think like we've heard like that or any other those other type of games.
Has there ever been a Smash clone that has really been successful?
I mean, Rival Ether has technically been successful, but not like crazy successful. Yeah. I think it's the main thing. While I think TemTem is making the right steps and everything right now to obviously not be anywhere near Pokemon itself, but to get, a couple million.
Literally nothing is.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a successful game. I think they're doing everything right. And all this stuff has me, excited to continue going back and stuff. I mean, and here's the kind of cool thing, because I'll kind of probably be steadily playing this throughout the year as this stuff's keeps on coming out. Yeah. That Nuzlocke mode instantly makes it so, hey, if I want to do a second playthrough with the whole game thing, that's the way I do it.
Yeah. And this isn't subscription based at all, right?
Nope, you just buy the game and you're in. The only microtransaction thing they have in there is the cosmetics shop, which it is not even a thing of. Based on what they said of, hey, you get a loot box with some random thing. Like, no, you just buy exactly what you want to buy.
Nice.
So, far I can tell they're doing anything right, and I'm excited for the future of this game.
Sounds like they're doing it right.
And speaking of Pokemon, Darby, we got to talk about it. We got a new Pokemon.
We got to talk about the real shit.
Yep, we got to talk about the Kings. So yeah, we got Zaruda. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Zaruda.
I think you nailed it, dude.
Yeah, it's a mystical, legendary Pokemon for Sword and Shield.
Well, we're just doing all kind of video, visual demonstrations. So if you're watching the video version, if you're watching the audio version, maybe go to the video version. You never know.
If you're watching that audio version,
you never know what else.
Watching them lines go up and down. Woo, baby. So yeah, Zaruda is a dark grass type. It's like they're like one grass ape or whatever is not enough.
And he is a rogue monkey.
He is a rogue monkey.
Gender, who knows? Question mark.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows what it is?
I don't appreciate them getting on Bradford's turf.
Yeah, it's unacceptable.
Yeah, that Bradford is or Grookey and whatever he's called after that is the
Rillaboom.
Yeah, Rillaboom. I do that.
So what's also interesting is this from as me, someone who really follows Pokemon. Mythical Pokemon are like a subsection of the legendary Pokemon, which are different than like the Sword and Shield cover Pokemon. Mythical are different. They even kind of have a type of the way they look. Like Mew is an example of a mythical Pokemon. Celebi, Arceus is one too, but he's God.
It's actually God.
Yep. This one really stands out as far as mystical Pokemon because even more than like any legendary mystical, he kind of just looks like a normal Pokemon. Like there's nothing about him.
He has a very cool design.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not saying that. But nothing screams like this is a legendary Pokemon. This is a special, particular Pokemon. I'm not necessarily against that.
I'm about to say, is that a good thing or is that bad? It's just a thing.
It's just a thing. It's just an observation I'm making.
Yeah, he does just kind of look like he could be just a normal Pokemon.
Yeah, there might be more to him. Also, part of the reason they went ahead and announced him is because he's going to be the main focus of the Pokemon movie that's coming out in the summer of the yearly Pokemon movie.
Nice. As
well as a shiny Celebi. So
is he gonna take the spotlight from Bradford?
Maybe, I don't know. Now, here's the thing that's also interesting. Like every time they release a new Pokemon, it's like, are they gonna be against Smash?
Yeah.
Are we looking at the next Smash character?
I will shun that boy because it should be our true boy.
It should be our true boy. If we're gonna get a grass primate, whatever, monkey, gorilla, whatever the hell, from Sword and Shield, it needs to be our baby boy.
I agree. He has cool drums. Look at this man. Just has like claws and arm warmers.
Yeah.
The hell, get this punk ass out of here.
Fuck him, man.
Fuck him, man.
Going on our baby boy's turf.
I won't have it.
Yep. Okay, Darby. Time to talk about some old news.
Yep, we did miss last week, and there's a few big things. This first one's actually pretty cool, I think.
Yep, I think so too. Didn't put the time code for the Pokemon, but whatever. Witcher 3 is getting cross-save between Switch and Steam.
That is a very big deal.
That is a very big deal. It helps justify the Switch version's existence.
Yeah, which I still definitely would not. I mean, maybe if it's super, super cheap, I would think it justifies it. But this is very similar to Divinity Original Sin 2 that announced with cross save with the Switch, and it instantly went from like, yeah, I went and played with the Switch, and it was like cross save. Oh, okay. It's like, because I can just play that on the go. It's like I can go on a trip and play Divinity with me. Witcher 3 is a very similar type of experience where it's a super long like PC centric RPG at first. And to see that go there, it's just a really good fit. It's a weird, like, there's never been any other time in history I could think of, like, there's starting to be this weird kinship and tying between PC and Switch.
Yeah.
Like, PC franchises and stuff and Switch. And there's honestly, those two systems are kind of polar opposites, but they kind of work perfectly together because of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, people can still get, their high-end technology with their PC, but if they want to take like a game like Witcher or Divinity on the go and keep your saves, like, yeah, you got that right there.
Yeah, because that just...
Well, and also I think it makes sense in a way of, as I feel like, if PC people are going to have an actual console, Switch is probably pretty likely to be it, just because it's so different. Like, selection of games is so different from PS4 and Xbox.
And Xbox has too much.
Well, definitely Xbox, because even those games are on PC. Like, even the exclusives are on PC.
It has way too much parity with PC, where it's basically just a worse PC. They don't do anything different, whereas the Switch is just, allows you to take it anywhere. It's like, yeah, it really makes sense. I wish that you could have cross save with the other systems, but like Nintendo is just the only, because Nintendo is just not playing that game at all. Yeah. Nintendo's not even in that competing in that same way. Yeah, but I'm glad. Like, once upon a time, I think that this just wouldn't have happened anyway, even though they're kind of competing in different spaces. But like, I'm glad and honestly a little surprised that Nintendo is forward thinking enough in this way to like recognize, hey, this is actually good for us. Yeah. We're gonna get more people, like PC people like me, to potentially do this, like out of these deals than they would have otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy to sound like if enough games do this, that will probably actually sell Switches to where they're like, yeah, these games I love, I can just take them on the go, and that'll be...
If you just expect... If we come to expect, like, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be a cross-save between those two, there'll probably be a lot of people that'll be like, yeah. I mean, like, if the Switch becomes, in addition to everything it already is, it's indie machine, a Nintendo machine, and if it's also a on-the-go PC RPG machine, like, that's a pretty big get. This is a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
And for those like super long things like that just work super well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really smart. Really smart. I hope we see that more and more. I hope these aren't just one-off things. Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is the farther we get along, farther get away from this stuff, more likely that even these games, as much as they look worse on Switch, may not be possible.
Yeah, and I mean, already looking at The Witcher 3, I would already say it's almost not possible. It looks rough on there. Like, that's so weird. This still doesn't justify. Like, I still probably would not get this, but at least like this is an avenue for people.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't paid attention to the Switch one in a while, so it'd be interesting to me. Look, now that I've put 30, 40 hours or whatever the hell I have into Witcher 3 on PC. Like, even me like playing it some, then going to see you play on PS4, I'm like,
it's a noticeable.
That's a noticeable grade, and it's like from that to the Switch, I'm like, oh boy. Ooh, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the rest of this old news.
Atlas Communications manager said never ever give up on hope regarding Persona 5 on Switch. This was such a weird thing.
Yeah, this is a whole thing that I swore we talked about in the podcast, but we didn't. Apparently, me and Jeff just have like podcasts outside of the podcast every day when we talk to each other.
We talked about it on camera. It was during the dream stream.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So it wasn't on the podcast.
That's right. We did do it into a microphone. You're right. Kind of what I said then. I think this whole thing, because there was more to the wording where she was like, if you want Persona 5 on Switch, you need to be vocal and let people know, almost insinuating that it's there hasn't been enough a vocal response to it. It's are you fucking kidding me?
You obviously know it's there because you're putting Scramble on there and promoting that decently well.
The internet was just on fire about Persona 5 for Switch for months and everything. It's there's no way you can't know it. I think whenever I actually read the thing, it really seems like it was a dumb thing for a PR person. They just said it just kind of as an answer to a question. They're never give up hope, keep asking or whatever, just as a kind of a way to move the question along. And it was taken and ran with it with headlines and everything. I don't think that this person had actual knowledge or concrete this is the reason why we haven't done it. I think it's business dealings over their head, and they're just kind of never give up hope, it could happen eventually. It didn't seem like a very buttoned up stance type thing. It was still a dumb thing to say. You should be smarter about your media, what you're saying in these interviews.
And part of the thing is weird, even if it's I don't know, if you're maybe I'm overestimating a communications manager or something, it feels like people on Atlas would know why it's not a Switch. If it is Sony and Atlas have made a deal that Persona 5, the main Persona 5 games are always PlayStation.
That's what I just assumed had to be the case. I assumed that nothing else made sense. The weird thing.
But here's the thing, and for the reason makes me wonder if it's not just some kind of really weird deal. It's I felt like we would have heard that kind of officially, because every other thing related to this kind of is conveyed that way.
What can what you
I feel like we hear something if something is contractually exclusive.
I mean, I don't feel like there's many things that they come out and talk about their business dealings in the public. I mean, that's not you know what I mean? I don't think we know the details of many other franchises' exclusivity deals. We just kind of assume that this is that way or whatever. But I wouldn't we don't know the wording of that bit. I can't think of I don't know. I don't know if I completely agree with what you're saying. 'Cause I can't think of many companies where it's we know exactly this is here because of this reason or whatever. I mean, I think there's a lot of assumptions that we have to do with.
I know. I mean, I get with assumptions and all that kind of stuff, but it feels like when something is there's a contract to it. I don't know. I feel like we at least hear something and they promote it's this is going to just be exclusive to our platform, and that's just the way it is type thing. We assume Tales and Yakuza up to this point were exclusive just because of the fact is Japanese games just do better on PlayStation, but that's changing now. They just decided one day pretty much, hey, we're just putting these on other platforms. It's the way it is. Persona just seems to be, for some reason, not that way.
But I mean, Yakuza and all those, they never came out and said, we're only on PlayStation because of this, and we're going to go to these other platforms eventually. It's just whenever they came to those other platforms, they announced that. I mean, they were in the same place that Persona is now in the past. The only difference is just Persona never did that. And so we all started assuming that they must be locked down in a way that the others aren't, just because they didn't port.
Yeah. Kind of lost now.
I just don't know if I don't know if the situations are any different. It's just Yakuza made the switch. It's not like we knew ahead of time that Yakuza didn't have was any different than Persona as far as having a deal.
It kind of seems like Persona is different. You even say yourself, you just kind of assume that there's some kind of weird marketing.
It's different because it's kept going, and it's so obvious that it should come over, and it hasn't. That's what makes it different. When it seemed like Yakuza should come over, it did. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's any different as far as our public knowledge. It's all just assumptions. I mean, before Yakuza came over, none of us really thought that was going to happen. And with Persona, like it's different in outcome. It's not different in like our perceptions or what we know. Like we didn't know anything more about Yakuza or those other ones until it happened. Like I don't think anyone was sitting here like, yep, it's gonna come. They're gonna like port all of those games over to like every other console. We didn't know that. Like that was a surprise.
Well, it was at the time
So we didn't know about
it
their
didn't make as
business,
much sense for Yakuza and stuff to do it, so we just kind of again assumed that there's from a business standpoint it kind of made sense. For Persona, it doesn't make sense, but they seem to be against it for some reason. So
I
don't know. What I'm getting at is also like it makes the most sense in a way for it to actually be a deal that mainline Persona games can't go to anything but PlayStation things.
Yeah,
it's like the only thing that makes sense. But well, I was kind of getting at this whole thing. We kind of really got off on a giant tangent that we really didn't need to. Kind of just ran around in circles. That you feel like a marketing man, like a communication manager, would know that, you know. And I was kind of get a weird thing of if there is that kind of contract, it just kind of feels like we would have at least heard something about it, whether it just kind of be an offhand thing or inside sources or something. Jason Schreier or something. That's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah,
and since we didn't hear that, and this thing, them saying this, that even it's just one person, is like makes me think there isn't that kind of deal, and Al's just being really, really weird.
I mean, it could legitimately just be a company that is that out of touch with what people are saying. They're just completely in their own boardrooms. And honestly, Atlas is a pretty backwards company.
Yeah,
they make some good games, but they are pretty backwards when it comes to a lot of. Like,
again, getting at it. In some ways, it makes sense that it's just kind of deal, especially that Scramble is coming to Switch, but original Persona 5 it wasn't, or something. I don't know. It's really weird.
Fucking sequel. It's a straight up sequel that's coming to.
Yeah. And Darby, just good news. I don't know how much you've been paying attention. I'm hearing more and more that it's not really a Muso game.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it's a Muso game with Persona element. I mean, it is a Muso game, but I think it's going to have.
Well, I'm just saying for people that actually played it, you played Muso games, like it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play the game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to enjoy it anywhere near as much as like Persona 5. You know, I think there's going to be large parts of that game that I have to drag myself through, but I'm going to play it. Yeah, I don't know. If there is no deal, like we said, it's absolutely mind-bogglingly stupid because it's just easy money.
Yeah. And now if there's a deal, they're like, damn, why'd we make that deal? Because easy money. Or maybe I guess the
no one knew the Switch was coming.
Yeah. Yeah, this whole thing stemmed from Smash. Speaking of Smash, Sakurai said this might be it for Smash Ultimate after this character pack. Also, he added in to reiterate, Nintendo is picking these characters again.
So get off my back.
Yeah, they picked the last ones. They're picking this ones.
Sakurai just keeps saying this to try to fend off the internet hate. He's just trying so.
Which is, I mean, I can't blame him.
No, he gets way more than he deserves.
Smash slash Nintendo fans are lunatics.
Yep. This is obviously perfectly fine. As I've said 1,000 times, Smash Ultimate could have not had a single DLC character, and it still would have had the greatest roster of any game of all time. So the fact that we got 5 new ones, and then we're about to get 6 new ones, yes, it can stop there.
Yeah, it kind of, I mean,
fine.
This statement just makes sense in general, even if there is something that comes afterwards. But I don't know, something about this felt a little more like definitive in a way.
Yeah,
the way it kind of said made like, no, we're feeling more likely that this is it, and this makes perfect sense because by the time this is done, it'll be 3 years after the game came out, and Sakurai would have been working on solely Smash for like 10 years.
Yep.
Enough's enough.
I mean, he brought up that like he hasn't been able to work on any other games because of this. Like, I kind of hope for Sakurai that this is it, you know.
Yeah,
but just even though Sakurai is the one who keeps putting himself back in here, you know, he cares a lot. But
I think this will be the time, and this will be a nice swan song for Smash as we know it. Just because there will be another Smash game, but it will pretty much be a reboot. Like, it has to be.
Last character. Next Fire Emblem protagonist.
It was just enough time. Oh God, can you imagine?
He's like, Fuck y'all, I'm out.
Well,
see you never, nerds.
I know you're joking, but there are people that I've seen legitimately fear that. The good news is they've already picked the characters, and odds are that character may not even really exist on concept art yet. And I doubt they're gonna put in another Fire Emblem character anyway.
This would be a better fuck you that I would be down for, but it's like it's Hades. Fuck y'all, I'm putting more of Kid Icarus.
Fuck yeah, man. Let's do it.
I'm putting a carpal tunnel hand from a player who played Kid Icarus Uprising, and that's the Smash character.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about Tom Nook and get out of here.
Yep. Final thing is kind of the Animal Crossing direct. We got a direct, Darby. Well,
yes, that's exactly what we wanted.
That's exactly what we wanted.
God.
Yep. Now maybe not. Well, not what we wanted.
It's what a lot of people wanted.
It's what a lot of people wanted, and it's what I expected. I mean, I knew this was coming. An Animal Crossing direct, whether it be before or after a general direct was irrelevant. This was happening.
It was happening. Yeah.
Whether a general direct was happening or not, it just made too much sense.
Do people seem to be happy? Yes, they do. But
yes, they do.
That's about it. Yeah, me and Jeff are very, very, very far from being Animal Crossing fans.
Even as someone who's just kind of watched Animal Crossing from afar, partly because of his sister and all that. It's like I see some of the stuff that's in the air. It's like these are small things in the grand scheme of things where it's easy to poke fun. It's like they're getting excited for this,
but that's so stupid. Animal Crossing is the small thing.
No, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah. No, and even some of the stuff I saw, it's like, no, this is big, and people are gonna love this and eat this up, like the terraforming stuff, and like people are gonna.
It seems like there's just a lot more openness and
no, you pretty much get to make the island any way you want. It looks like, as far as like even the shape of the island and all that, and the people on it.
I so wish like Animal Crossing has to be the single like franchise that I so wish I was into. Like I wish that I had the personality type and the attention span and everything to get in there and just chill. It would probably be good for my mental health. It would probably be good for LA. I just really wish I was an Animal Crossing fan.
Good year for Animal Crossing, I
just really wish I was.
But yeah, well, maybe reason I kind of bring this stuff up because we're not Animal Crossing fans. We can't talk about the deep dive details, all the little details in and all that. But Nintendo's being weird again.
Oh yeah, I forgot there was a bad part of this. Kind of forgot about this.
Darby, there's always a bad part with Nintendo. There's never just solely good. There's always a catch.
Thought we were just warm and fuzzy in the podcast, but I kind of forgot about this.
Yeah. I'm blanking on the details. So pretty much, you can transfer data pretty much once. To a new Switch once, but then after that you're shit out of luck.
Yeah, like it's literally like you can trade your save data to another.
Oh, no
Switch,
cloud saves.
After you do that, you're absolutely done. And like no cloud saves. It's just it makes no sense because what blows my mind is that Nintendo is actively saying, "Hey, look at this." Fire Emblem, not Fire Emblem. Look at this Animal Crossing Switch. Don't you want to buy this? Look at all these different different colors for the Switch lights. I'm like showing you all these different custom switches with one hand, and the other hand is like, oh no, but you don't want to buy those because you're gonna completely fuck yourself over with your Animal Crossing save. It's like, why? Yeah. What is the point? And this doesn't even really feel like Nintendo's back end is held together by string. This seems like a choice.
No, yeah, that's the whole thing that even makes this different than other asinine decisions is like it doesn't even make sense. Yeah, from like you said, from a back end to things like I can't think of no technological reason they hold back from this
because you can do it. It's not that they can't do it; they can do it.
And even sometimes, even if I don't agree with it, I sometimes try to parlay as fun not fun, but think of like, what's the business reason for this? And my thing is, I can't think of any.
There's just not even a scummy business thing.
There's not even a scummy reason for it because it's not like you would have to buy the game again.
No, you just would probably stop playing the game.
Yeah, there's no logical reason for this anyway, even from a scummy business reason.
Nope.
It's just they just decided on this on a whim.
I'm trying to think like, are they worried about people like trading their accounts to other people or something, save files to other people? But they would still have to buy the game. So what the fuck?
I don't know. It's weird.
Like you're really
again. There's no reason for it. than just deciding to do it.
And,
Also,
then just like the fact, like honestly, in 2020, any like major console, any major publisher like this not having cloud saves is just
that's what I was getting. No. Here's the
ludicrous.
thing. They generally have cloud saves. They're charging for it, but they decide, and this isn't the first time, to not allow it in one of their big games.
Like you're absolutely like bound to be one of your top selling games. And it's a game a lot of kids play. If you break your Switch, you're just done.
Well, if you break it twice, you're done. You get one time. One freebie!
But I mean, you still have to be able to like trade the saves, right?
Yeah.
So like, what if you drop your Switch in the ocean?
No, I don't know.
What if you like severely break that
I mean, that's... But here's the weird thing, and this might just me being a dum-dum, is... They say no cloud saves, but to transfer it's got to go through a cloud or something, right?
I don't know exactly how it works. I mean,
like it has to.
Yeah,
like you can't like link them up
with the LAN cable.
Yeah,
you
so they did Pokemon Red and
Blue. Yeah, I honestly don't know the specifics of it. To be honest,
it's weird.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
Nintendo is simultaneously great and stupid.
Our little Nintendo side.
Yes. Nintendo, why are you the way you are? But also, we're glad you're the way you are. But
in some ways, not in every way.
Well, that was another episode of Nintendo being dumb. Thank you for joining us. That's Jeff. This is me. That's Bradford. And see you next time.